What's going on, guys? It's Doubtful back again with another YouTube video. In today's YouTube video, I just want to get on here and talk about how to solo queue the right way in Marvel Rivals. Now, I just want to start off by saying I'm not an expert and I'm not trying to claim that I am. I just want to share a few tips that I've learned in solo queuing myself in Marvel Rivals. So with that out of the way, let's get into some tips and tricks on how to help you solo queue in Marvel Rivals. Alright guys, number one is going to be learn at least 2 heroes for each role. Now I see a lot of people one trick their way all the way to one above all, and that's great. But if you take some time to learn at least 2 heroes per role, meaning that's 2 tanks, 2 DPS, 2 healers, then you'll be able to help win and rank up so much faster than just one tricking a hero. Now why am I saying learn 2 per role and not just 1? That's because if you want to choose, the best hero for like a certain role that you need to fill in for your team comp, sometimes that hero is going to be picked up and now you're shit out of luck. What you want to do is you want to pick at least 2 that you can learn, or 2 that you know. So if one of them is picked, you can pick the other one. Or say you're better, you're better at like a Winter Soldier, for example, compared to like a Black Panther, right? Maybe your team needs a dive DPS instead of a brawler like a Winter Soldier. So instead of picking Winter Soldier, you can pick a Black Panther, and then you'll just dive the backline, and you'll be able to help your team out more if you just went Winter Soldier, and vice versa. You need to learn at least 2 per role. So if one of them are picked, you can just pick the other one, or if one's not working, you can switch to the other one, and you won't be a detriment to your team. Now, you need to learn, like I said, 2 for each role. It can be any 2. I recommend, my personal opinion, if you're like a dive DPS normally, I would say pick like a Namor or something like that. Something that counters your main. So now that not only means that if there's someone that's playing your main on the other team, you know that you can switch to like a Namor, for example. Like I say you're a Spider-Man main, and you can, and the Spider-Man is just absolutely diffing you and you can't do anything. You can switch to a Namor, and you know that Namor is a direct counter to your main, and you know how to counter the Spider-Man on the other team perfectly, because you play against those counters all the time. You see how those counters are absolutely, shitting on you like each game. So you'll know how to play Namor, and you'll be able to counter those heroes yourself. Now guys, tip number 2 is communicate. Communicate. There were a few of you in my previous video saying, hey, I just can't bring myself to talk in game chat. It was either due to anxiety, or you just don't want to get ridiculed by your teammates, because, I mean, guys, let's be honest, these Marvel Rivals players are very toxic at any rank. So what I would do instead is use your team chat feature. Now, the team chat feature is not as fast as talking, but there are some things, or just some instances, or just some of you guys that can't bring themselves to talk, and that's okay. But some of you should just use the chat feature to fully communicate with your team for things like, asking what sort of team comp you guys want. If you guys are getting diffed in like one round, just type in the chat, hey guys, what heroes do we need? What do we need to counter? What do we need to change? Yada yada yada, this, that, and so on. It's basically, you need to be communicating with your team. There are a lot of games that I'm a part of, especially where, I mean, I'm guilty of this as well, where you just don't communicate with your team whatsoever, and you can't expect your team to have good team composition if you're just not communicating at all. Now guys, you can also use the ping feature, and on default it's clicking the scroll wheel on your mouse, and I don't know what it is on controller, but you guys can figure it out. I believe it's like something on the D-pad. But what it does is it'll ping an enemy or an area to highlight something to your teammates. Now what this does is it basically, highlights an area, like I said. And what you can use it for is to ping an enemy that's either flanking or that's one shot and needs to be targeted to kill, because as we all know, this is a team-based game, team hero shooter. You guys need to be shooting at the same character to, try and kill one person, trying to team shot someone. If someone's diving the backline as a healer, you should be pinging and communicating that, hey, we got a Black Panther in the backline, or a Magic in the backline, or Spider-Man in the backline. We need to, focus on these dive DPS to, kill these people so I can heal you guys. Using this ping feature will not only highlight that, hey, there's someone that we need to focus on, but it will highlight them, and you'll know exactly where they are on the map. You'll be able to look like a certain area in a certain, part of like the map, instead of using like the voice chat feature if you don't want to use the voice chat feature. So either use the voice chat feature and say, hey, there's someone diving the back line, need help, or just use the ping. Either one of those will work just fine. Now, the reason why I talk about communication so much in my videos is because it is such a crucial strategy that many people still don't use. Like I said before, you just can't automatically have great cohesion with your team, especially if you're not communicating. If you hop into any top player's stream, at least one or two of them will be communicating to coordinate a push, to walk up with your tanks, to communicate for an ult, and so on. The best players in the world speak to their team. So just put the ego aside and talk to your team to give the best chances at winning. Now guys, let's move into tip number 3, and that's don't overexert yourself. Now what I mean by this is to know when you're just rage queuing and being a detriment to your team. This is not what you want to happen, because this will make you derank so much faster. There are countless studies out there that if you focus on a task for more than 4 hours straight, your efficiency in improving will drastically decline. So if you're playing for long hours and see that your shots aren't hitting the way that they usually do, if your reaction time is getting slower, or if it just straight out feels like that you can't do anything on the map, maybe it's time to call it for the night and just get off and try again tomorrow. One thing that I personally learned when I was in school and college is that it's better to study in intervals, such as study for 30 minutes and take a break, then study for another 30 minutes and take another break, and then so on and so forth. Instead, a lot of people try and, study or quote unquote play for 2 to 3 hours straight with no breaks. This is not good, because this means that your brain can only retain so much information at a time, and you need to give your brain a break in order to process and sort through all of the information you're trying to learn. If you're doing it for 2 to 3 hours straight and no breaks, you're not giving your brain any sort of chance to just retain all of the information and trying to learn and improve. You're basically just spamming your brain basically with so much information that you won't be able to, process through all of those games and figure out what you need to improve on, and then you'll just be stuck in the same sort of rank, same sort of problems over and over and over again. Now, this applies in Marvel Rivals. Like I said, if you give yourself time to retain all of the games that you've been in, you'll begin to think about certain plays that you could have done differently to have a better outcome, which will in turn make you a better player and help you improve quicker. I also just wanted to make this point because if you're solo queuing, it can be maddening at times with no one to talk to, and if you're losing, you can just go insane and go full tilt and not want to play anymore. And it'll actually make you burn yourself out and not want to play the game and just basically just quit. And you don't want that to happen. This game is great. This is probably, in my opinion, one of the best games out right now. And the game just recently came out. You'll have a lot of time to get to the rank that you want to be. So there should be no rush. You shouldn't be spamming these games to try and get to the rank you want to so quickly if you're just losing over and over and over again and not improving. So don't overexert yourself, play in intervals, take a few breaks every so often. I would always say like the 4-hour mark, like I said, is kind of like, the threshold for trying to retain as much information as you can. I wouldn't go over the 4 hours mark if you are playing for long hours. I know some of you are only able to play like a couple of days like out of the week and you want to play like a lot. So I recommend playing for like a couple hours and then taking like a 30-minute to like an hour break, like maybe getting something to eat, take a shower, work out, go hang out with family and friends, and then come back and then play again, and then you'll be able to be refreshed. You'll be able to retain information much more efficiently, and you'll be able to win more games. Now guys, the last tip is going to be tip number 4. Try and team up with good random players in your games. Now I've said this before, and this applies to solo queuing as well. If you're in a game and your team steamrolls the other team, try and inviting everyone to your lobby after the game and try and queuing with them will help you in the long run. Now this will help you with a variety of things. When you're solo queuing, there are a lot of unknown variables, not only on your team but on the other team as well. And whenever you queue up with someone that you know is just good at a certain hero, you already have a known variable which will be able to help you create, a better team composition and be able to play around them and with them instead of just a random that you don't know what they're going to play and you don't even know if they're going to be good. It'll actually in turn help you win more games. Now, a personal example of this for me was just last night on stream. I tweet out every single time I go live. If you guys want to follow me on Twitter or Twitch or anything, the links will be down in the description below. Now, I was in a duo queue with my friend, but I mean, this still applies for solo queuing. We were playing on the New York Convoy map with 4 other randoms, and we absolutely steamrolled the other team. I mean, absolutely steamrolled the other team. I was playing a Doctor Strange, and I went 35-0 on this entire map. Like, just absolutely steamrolled them. Halfway through the game, one of our randoms on our team said, y'all want to team up after this? And he was a solo queue. He was playing by himself, and everyone agreed. We all grouped up in a 6-stack, and then we went on an insane win streak. We didn't even know each other, but all it took was one solo queue guy to ask for a team up, and everyone agreed, which led to all of us literally ranking up at least 1 or 2 ranks together. This is why I say just ask for a team up and don't be scared. I mean, you're not going to be able to get people in a group every single time, but it never hurts to ask, and it'll only help you out in the long run. Now guys, those are some of the tips that'll help you improve in your solo queue journey. Let me know some personal tips that you yourself have used in some of the solo queue games that you've been playing in the comment section below. I want to hear what does or doesn't work for you, and just you guys can help out each other in the comments as well. What works for you, what doesn't work for you, and so on. As always guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, thank you guys for 300 subscribers. Y'all have been killing it on the just videos lately. Just give me, tons of likes, tons of comments, tons of interactions. I appreciate each and every one of you that has been subscribing. I do this on the side. I work like 50 hours a week. I work full-time, just graduated college. I love ranking up and playing in Marvel Rivals and streaming, making content for you guys. Like I said, I stream every Friday through Monday, so if you guys want to check me out, be in the description down below. You guys can pop in, say hi, ask any sort of questions on how to improve. If you guys want to team up, let me know. I'm always down to play with any sort of fans, any sort of subscribers and stuff like that. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me, guys. I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.